All right, Shalom. This is the brother Mayim coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, so as you see here, the article is entitled Attack on Sovereignty and Territorial Integrity, Syria reacts on Trump's Golan Heights move. All right, which the Golan Heights, let me just pull that up here in the map. The Golan Heights is this area right here. You can see Golan Heights there. All right, that's the area that's in that they're talking about in that article. All right, and as you can see, here is Syria. All right, and the land of Israel over here. All right, but as you can see, this is the area here, just so brothers can have an understanding of what region of the world this is in. All right, because you get a lot of people, you know, that call themselves being in this truth, but they know nothing about what lands, where things are happening, where the Valley of Jehoshaphat is at. You don't know geographically where those places are located. All right, and it's important, as the apostles on down have been going into recently. All right, that geography is a key component of being in this truth. All right, knowing cities where they were in the ancient times. All right, compared to now. All right, but pertaining to this lesson that I want to do. All right, or really with the article, because I'm going to go into a couple scriptures here, but this is the Golan Heights area. All right, just so brothers have an understanding of what area that is. All right, so let me just go back to this article real quick. All right, it says an attack on sovereignty and territorial integrity. Says Syria reacts to Trump's Golan Heights move. All right, and all these things that Donald Trump is doing over there, with moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, declaring that the capital of Israel. All right, I'm sure if they haven't already, I can't remember if they have already, but the Gaza Strip, all right, which, let me pull the map up again. The Gaza Strip is this down over here, this little red area right here. All right, Israel's always bombing them. All right, they're always going back and forth. All right, so, all this turmoil that's going down over here in this area. All right, all this area over here, because it's not just Israel, but it's all this area over here. All right, all this area right here from Iran all the way to the land of Israel. All right, all that area right there, that's that Valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, which when you go into the scriptures, from Genesis to you can find it in the book of Genesis, talking about the four rivers. All right, you got the Nile. All right, which I believe that was Gihon or Pison. Then you have the river Hiddekel, which is the Tigris River, which is, let me see if you can see it on here on this map. But doesn't look like it's gonna show very clear here. The Tigris River, I don't know if that's it or not, but Tigris River is around this line right there, and then you got the river Euphrates closer to the inside, all right, of Iraq, because that's where Babylon was. But all this area right there is that Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. As a matter of fact, in the scriptures, it talks about America being in Saudi Arabia. All right, with the hindermost sea being the Red Sea, and the easternmost sea being that Persian Gulf. All right, and them trying to get into Iran. All right, but that's another lesson for another day. But right now, what I want to do is I want to get into this article real quick, because there's something that really stood out to me, other than really this. Well, I mean, a lot stood out to me in this article, but there's one thing that the Spirit had me do this video on. All right, so I'm just going to read these two top paragraphs here, because really, I mean, it's not too long of an article, as you can see here. All right, but, brothers can read it themselves. All right, but I just want to read these two little first paragraphs. It says, calling the decision a flagrant attack on Syrian territorial sovereignty, an official from Syria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has condemned Donald Trump's recognition of Israel's claim to the occupied Golan Heights. All right, and going back, I believe is the 1960s. All right, that place was Israel occupied that land. All right, even though it's part of Syrian territory, it was occupied starting in I want to say it was 1967 by Israel. All right, the Israelis, okay, but it was still Syrian territory. And then I believe in 1981 it was annexed. All right, but now you got Donald Trump stating that that's territory of Israel, the land of Israel now. So Syria's, getting is pretty upset, which is not just Syria, as we're going to find out here. In the second paragraph says the move embodies Washington's support for a Zionist occupation, the foreign minister told Syrian state media in a statement. It also stressed that Trump's decision shows extreme contempt for international law and is a slap in the face for the international community, which has condemned, and this is the point, which has condemned the occupation of the Golan Heights in the United Nations. All right, so you see, the United Nations, there's a lot, especially these nations that back Syria, Russia, Iran, Turkey. All right, they're all against this move. All right, and not just them nations, but also a lot of these nations that are in the United Nations, which goes into the 10 horns, man. All right, so Revelation chapter 17, and when you go into these things, into this chapter, we know that whore is America. All right, that beast is the Roman system, which America polices the world with. All right, and then it had the 7 heads and the 10 horns, and the 10 horns are the nations of NATO and EU, the EU, Slovakia, the EU. All right. And verse 16, this is where I want to start off. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. All right. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And again, those 10 horns are talking about the NATO and EU nations. All right. And it said, what? These shall hate the whore. And we see with examples like this, how the United Nations, all right, which are those 10 kings, those 10 horns, are hating America. These bold and, like it's stated here, flagrant attacks. All right, that America just continues to do all over the world, breaking international law. All right, and these other nations are fed up with the BS. All right, that America continues to do. All right, look at this statement. It says, Trump does not have the right or legal capacity to legitimize the occupation of others' territories. All right, because what does America have to do with what's going on over there? Nothing. They're just allies with Israel, but they're over here making moves like they own the place, man. Which is what's it called? Nothing new, man. All right, let me get real quick. Let me jump. I believe it's 2. Let's see. Thought I was in Joel. Maybe he's in 3. All right, but he increases his desire as hell. All right. Don't see it. I thought it was in Joel. But let me see. All right, Kanye, it was Habakkuk chapter 2. Salakia. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse, I'll start at 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up, talking about Esau, Edom, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, and it's crazy that it said because he transgresseth by wine, because in an article that I was reading earlier about the whole Golden Heights thing, Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, if I'm pronouncing that correct, when he came over here to America this morning, all right, to visit Donald Trump, he actually brought Donald Trump some wine from the Golden Heights. You know, so that's spiritual that it says that he transgressed by wine, which we know that that's not what it's talking about. But you know, it's not actual wine that you drink. But all right, he says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. All right, and you can read the book of Obadiah to see that this is talking about Esau. All right, it says, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And you see, that's what this so-called white man, that's what Esau, Donald Trump, all right, the red Hebrew Edomite, that's what he does all over the world. And here is a perfect example of exactly that, man. Donald Trump, let me see, right here. See, Donald Trump signs declaration recognizing Israel's sovereignty over disputed Golden Heights. He's just doing whatever he wants, man. In everybody else's backyard, like it said in the scripture, it said, neither keepeth at home. Here it is. We got all these things going on in America, but here Donald Trump is signing declarations declaring a piece of land to somebody else when it's not even those people's territory. But you see, which really at the end of the day, none of that land is of none of those people's territory. Nobody owns or it has rights to any of that land. All right. So going back to Revelation 17, let me read that again. All right, because we're getting ready to transition into a phase called World War III. All right, which really World War III has already begun. All right, it just has not gotten to that grand stage yet, which is that Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is what we're getting into. All right, Revelation chapter 17. Let me read this again, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And how are they going to make America desolate? Because that whore is talking about Babylon the Great, which is America. All right. And so here it is. You got these other nations, including the NATO, or including the NATO EU are the 10 horns. All right. It says, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And how are they going to make her desolate? With them nuclear missiles, man. All right. The nuclear missiles that these other nations have, Iran, Syria, Russia, Turkey, India. All right. All these nations that really these nations are backing Syria, Iran. All right. All those nations, guess what? And that's just to name a few. All right. Because there's going to be a lot more nations that get involved into sending missiles over here. All right. And that's what's getting ready to happen, man. That's why the Lord is preparing everything out there in that land. All right. Let me get that. Now I go into Joel Salakia. All right. And, well, let me start at 1. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which when you go into that word Jehoshaphat, all right, is a compound word of Yahweh, which is the Lord's name, and Shaphat, which means judgment. So the valley of Yahweh's judgment. All right, the Lord's judgment. Because this is, and we're going to get into it. It says, into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people. And again, you go into that word there, plead, and it's Shaphat, which means judge. And will judge with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Because the Lord is going to gather all these nations over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat. For what? to judge these people for the things that they've done to the Lord's the apple of his eye. Okay, that's what the Lord is getting ready to do over there, man. All right, let me skip on down just to get straight to the point with this. Let me start at verse 9. All right, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what the Lord is doing. All right, that's what the Lord is doing. The Lord is preparing war. He's waking up the mighty men of these nations, of these heathen nations. It says, let all the men of war draw near. And guess what? All these countries, all right, all these power countries, they're all getting drawn into that area over there, all right, which is that valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, all the nations of the world are getting gathered into this area right here. All right, let me zoom in a little bit. But all the nations, basically from Israel, all right, Iran, all right, as far south as Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, United Arab, all this area right there, which they call the Middle East. All right, that's the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, this is that valley of Jehoshaphat, which all the countries of the world are getting drawn into, man. There's all this turmoil that you see happening over here with this whole Golan Heights, the Gaza Strip, all right, with Iran. All right, all this drama that's happening over here is getting ready to intensify to the point to where all the nations are going to have to go up in there to go to war, man. All right, and mainly the main enemy is going to be this damn whore America, man, Babylon the Great. All right, and matter of fact, let me pull this article up real quick before I continue in that Joel. All right, let me read this little sentence right here. It says, it added that the decision makes the United Nations the main enemy of the Arabs, and not just the Arabs. All right, when we read up here, it says the United Nations, that they feel like it's a slap in the face to them, man. People are in uproar about this. Okay, so going back here, reading verse 10 now, Joel 3 and 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right, and the weak, talking about these weak nations such as like Iran, North Korea, Syria, all these little nations that really don't have, they have nuclear power, but hey, a couple years ago, they really didn't have nothing, man. All right, but what? Now they're saying we are strong. Why? Because they're either backed up with nuclear power or they have nuclear power themselves. Okay, which Russia and China are really the big nations over there that are backing those nations up, man. All right. You see, it says, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which again, we just read. Or I just showed you, brothers, on the map where that valley of Jehoshaphat is. For there will I sit to judge all the nations round about. And we've seen it over the last couple decades, how everything is getting geared up and everything is happening in that Middle East. All the major conflicts have been happening really since like the 80s. All right, with Desert Storm. All right, all those skirmishes that's been going on over there. All right, it's all because because of Edom been going over there, which we read in Habakkuk chapter 2. All right, he neither keepeth at home. All right, so ever since the so-called white man's put his foot down up in that land over there, it's been nothing but straight chaos. But really, those wars and battles has been intensifying really since like the 80s and forward, man. And it's getting to that point now to where war is going to be inevitable. Okay, the Lord is bringing all these nations together, and we've seen it, man, over the years or throughout the months. All right, and it's going to lead to World War III and ultimately the demise and destruction of America. All right, pursuant to Revelation 17 and 16, like we read, man. Those 10 horns shall hate the whore, and they shall burn her with fire, make her desolate, man. Which that fire is the nuclear missiles, man. All right. It says, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. And guess what? The day of the Lord is near, man. And we see it every day that we see things being stirred up over there. We see it as another step closer to the day that the Lord returns, man. All right. It says multitudes, and this is a prophecy, man. This was a vision that Joel got, man. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near. And what's those multitudes? It's talking about all these other nations that are going to be up in that Middle East area, man, for World War III. All right. And this World War III is not going to be fought like the other world wars, man. Okay, it's not. All right, it says that in Isaiah chapter 9. Let me get that real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise. All right, and garments rolled in blood. Because in World War I, World War II, well, really, when you go further back than that, when you go further back in history, whenever people would go into battle, all right, it'd be a bunch of noises. You know, people clanging shields, banging shields together, swords hitting each other. You know, then you get into World War I, a bunch of bullets, flying bombs going off, blood everywhere, people screaming. All right, but what it says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And that started at the end of World War II with the nuclear missiles, man, which at that time was atomic missiles. But now it's thermonuclear missiles. All right, that atomic power has been intensified. All right. And you see, that's the times that we're living in, man. And this is how we know that the scriptures are to be true, because there was no burning and fuel of fire in war back then. That's how we know that this is a prophecy of what's to come, man. Talking about that World War III. This shall be with burning and fuel of fire, because it's not gonna be like battles of before over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Because when World War III kicks off, man, these other nations, all these nations have nuclear missiles. You don't think they're gonna use them, man? And guess where they're all gonna be coming? Here to America. Okay. Going back to Joel. All right, it says verse 15, the sun and the moon shall be darkened and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And why is that? Because of the nuclear missiles, man. They're going to send up those plumes of smoke covering the skies. They always talk about them, and they always make mention of this in movies. All right, they call it a nuclear winter. All right, where there's so much ash and smoke in the air that it covers the sun and everything gets really cold. All right. It says, the Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice. And that was it on that one. Let me go back here. Yep. Talking about the nuclear missiles. All right. Because this is what's going to happen to America, man. All right. This is what's going to happen to America. This is Joel chapter 2, and I'm just going to start at verse 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. And that's what we do when we're doing these videos. All right, because we're warning you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, of this coming destruction that's coming. Because America will be destroyed completely. Now, there's going to be other nations around the world that are going to get hit with bombs, but they're not going to be as completely destroyed as America will. Okay? And that's what we're warning you people, okay, warning you Israelites about. All right, because first and foremost, there's only going to be a chosen elect to be saved. All right, so if the Lord has put it in your spirit to be one of those, then you need to wake up, man. You need to wake up and get to doing what you're supposed to be doing, man, which is what? Warning the people. Doing the will of the Lord. Okay? Because hey, I speak for myself and I can speak for the Akim, man. We don't want to be a part of the destruction that's going to come, man. The scripture says the same shall know it by death by pain, man. It's going to be a painful death that you're going to go through when these nuclear missiles hit, man. All right? It says, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. You see, because the day of the Lord, and as we're going to get into verse 2, is not a day of peace. It's not a beautiful day, man. It's going to be beautiful to those that are going to be delivered, but at the same time, even the elect is going to be in fear, man. All right, verse 2, it says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Because the day of the Lord is going to be like none other, man. You're going to have nuclear missiles letting off, being shot off, hitting the ground. All right? There's never been a day like that, man, and there never will be ever again after that. I believe that's Isaiah. You go into Isaiah chapter 4, man. After that, man, it's going to be nothing but peace, man, on earth. Why? Because the Israelites are going to be ruling. All right, but before that, this was going to be Joel chapter 2, verse 3. A fire devoureth before them, speaking on the nuclear missiles, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, because what? You look outside right now, you got the wind, you got the breeze blowing, you got flowers everywhere. You can go to the beach, look at the nice views. Weather's nice. All right, but then what? Then the nuclear missiles hit, and it says what? And behind them a desolate wilderness. All right, and when we go into Revelation 17 and 16, it said they shall make her desolate. And this is how they're going to make America desolate, with them nuclear missiles, man. Because after the missiles hit America, this place is never, ever, as we're going to get into, going to be inhabited. Okay? It says, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Nothing, man. You're not going to be able to hide in no bunker, all right, underground. You're not no shelter is going to be able to help you escape this nuclear destruction, man. Nothing at all. Verse 4, it says, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. All right, because when you watch these movies, of like back in the old days, well, let me pull up a picture, see if I let me get all right. This is what the nuclear missiles are going to be looking like. Let me see if I can get a good. All right. I mean, you can kind of see it here, but I want to see if I can get a nice aerial view. All right. See, something like this. All right. Let me see if I can get a better picture. All right, this is how the nuclear missiles are going to be running. See, this is what it's alluding to in that scripture. It said, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as a horseman, so shall they run. And this is how the nuclear missiles are going to come, man. Just like this. All coming towards America, man. All right? You have to visually, you see, because Jake needs some color, man. Jake needs some pictures, man. So this is how these nuclear missiles are going to be coming in. It's not literally talking about horses. It's depicting it as a object of power, which a horse is a creature of power, man. That's why they call the power of your car is called what? A horsepower. Well, this is what is this horse. All right, this horse that is the appearance of horses. That's a metaphor of what they're coming, because they have power in them. All right. Verse 5, it says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. And we just seen that picture. Look, a strong people set in battle array. This is how these nuclear missiles are going to come be flying in the sky, man. Okay? It says, before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. Because when you people see that, matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up a quick picture from a movie scene. All right. When you people, let's see. Oh, here you go. This is from outer space, you know. Let me see. There's a certain scene in the beginning of the movie where the little Israelite boy, all right, sees the missiles being launched off. All right. But nonetheless, you get the point that I'm trying to say. It says, before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. Because when you start to see, when you people are seeing these nuclear missiles coming in the air, all right, when you see them flying in the air, you're gonna look pale as hell, man. You're gonna look sick. All right. Let me see if it'll pop up. Yeah, see, it's not gonna pop up, but nonetheless, you brothers know what I'm looking for. You know, if not, you can look it up yourself. You know, and or watch the movie. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. But nonetheless, you people are gonna be shitting bricks, man. All right. It says, they shall run, verse 7, Joel chapter 2, verse 7, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. All right, because what? How are they going to climb the wall? Because when you go into these, into the ancient times, walls that were built around cities was the main city's defense. All right, and what's the modern defense of these of America is these missile defense systems. All right. The missile, I forget exactly what they call them, but I know Russia's is like the SR-400s or something like that. Can't remember the name escapes me right now of what exactly they're called, but what it says, they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of fire. Because what? Russia, they have created nuclear missiles that are maneuverable. You can actually maneuver around these missile defense systems, and not only that, but they are hypersonic missiles. So they go so fast that it's hard to even catch them on the radar, man. Let alone catch them, to make a strike in the air. All right. It says, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, because their no missile defense system is going to be able to stop these missiles. None of them. Okay. It says, verse 8, neither shall one thrust another, because just like when we seen that, I'll show that picture. Let me pull it back up. All right. Just like when you have these horses running side by side here. All right. And none of them are colliding together. All right. Which sometimes you did have times where you be running in battle like this with all these horses, and sometimes a horse will bump into another horse and one might collapse, or that's not going to happen with these missiles. All right. It says, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. See, because even if a nuclear defense system does strike one of these missiles, guess what? It's not going to be wounded. You see? So, and it's really going to be the spirit of the Lord that gets put on these missiles, man. because this is a part of the Lord's destruction, man. The Lord is the one sending this. All right, this is that the Lord's army. All right, which we're gonna get into. All right, verse 9, it says, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. You see, because these missiles are just gonna completely disregard, all right, for lack of a better phrase, disregard these these defenses. All right. It says the earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. You see, because when these nuclear missiles hit, it's going to be a lot of earthquakes happening. All right, volcanoes are going to start to erupt. Tsunamis are going to start to happen because of the earthquakes. All right, the clouds are going to cover the sun and the moon. All right, verse 11, it says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, and his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? So you see, these nuclear missiles are a part of the Lord's army, man. And who can stop the Lord, man? Nobody. That's why I said, and for the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? You know? Because these missiles, man, are coming, and they're coming from these other nations, man. These other nations are sick and tired of America's BS. All right? This is Isaiah chapter 13, going into a little bit more on these missiles. All right. All right. This is I'll just start at the top. All right. This says Isaiah 13:1. It says the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones from mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Verse 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations, gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Going back into Joel chapter 3, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Okay? And he said, what? The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So this is the Lord who's gathering all these nations. The Lord is the one who's causing all these conflicts over there, and none other. All right, and the scriptures even do say that. I can't remember exactly. I'm not going to get it. You brothers know where it's at, but it's the Lord says, I killeth and maketh alive. All right, I, the Lord, do all these things. The issues of death belongeth unto the Lord. All right, so the Lord is the one who's gathering all those nations to what? To judge them, to judge them. And how are they going to be judged? Through the nuclear missiles, man. It's a lot. All right, verse 5, it says, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. And this is going into the nuclear missiles now. All right, it says they come from a far country, meaning they're going to be coming from Russia, China, Iran, okay? It says, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. The whole land of what? Babylon the Great. When we go into Revelation, let me just get it again. I keep quoting it, but let me just get it. Revelation chapter 17, verse 16 again. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate. All right, and then again, them 10 horns talking about EU and NATO. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her with flesh, or eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's what these nations are going to do to America, man, with these nuclear missiles. I don't know what's so hard for you niggas to get about that. But now you got niggas, because that's what they are. I'm going to call them what they are, man. All right? You got niggas talking about the nuclear missiles are a hoax. Man, hey, the Lord has truly given you over to a strong delusion if you think that. All right. It says, verse 6, how ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. So you see that destruction that the nuclear missiles are going to bring, they're all coming from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He's the one who's sending this. It says, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. All right. because you're going to have a lot of people dying out here of heart attacks. All right. Some niggas are just, their hearts is going to completely just stop because they're in such fear. All right. Verse 8, and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. You see, because you people, boy, you people are going to be, you're going to know fear in that day. All right, verse 9, it says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. You see, so the Lord is going to destroy the sinners, man. What happened to the Christian saying the Lord hates the sin, not the sinner? What happened to that in this verse? You see, you Christians are going to get it too, man. Because you're a part of those that are going to be destroyed, man. All right? You bugged out demons, man. Because that's what you are, man. You're a bunch of, you Christian, that whole Christian doctrine, man, is BS, man. All right? Verse 10, it says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened. And if you haven't caught on to the fact that it keeps repeating, these scriptures that I've brought out keep repeating the same things over and over, because it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same end result after these nuclear missiles hit, man. That's why all these prophets received the same visions, man, of nuclear missiles. Okay, and John the Revelator received them too, man. It says, the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Scriptures say, pride goeth before a fall, man, I can't remember exactly how it just escaped my mind how it ends, but you brothers know what I'm talking about, man. Pride goeth before a fall. It says, I will make a man more precious. Verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. All right, and this is talking about a man of the Lord. Okay, because we're going to be made precious. Why? Because we're going to be escaping all these troubles, man. All right, we're going to be the ones that are going to be A-OK. You other people are going to be out here running rampant like chickens with the head cut off, man. Verse 13, it says, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger, because these nuclear missiles again are going to be causing those earthquakes, man. Okay. Let me skip on down to verse 19, just to get, I'm getting ready to close out. So, just to finish up this lesson. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19. It says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you know anything about the scriptures, you know that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by fire, man. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Babylon the Great, man. Okay? That is exactly how America is going to be destroyed, by fire. Except this time it's going to be by nuclear missiles, man. Okay? Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Why? Because this place is going to be utterly wasted, man. So wasted, because that's why I said neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, because what? Ishmael is a wild man. He grew up in the desert, man. But what? It's going to be so bad over here that not even the Arabians going to pitch tent here. All right, verse 21, it says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the land shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. You see, so the only thing that's going to be left here in America is one big desert and the desert animals, man. The wild beasts of the desert, as it says there. All right? And I'm just going to go get, well, let me close out with this scripture. Because there's many scriptures that you can go into talking about the missiles. All right? There's many scriptures. That wasn't it. It's a lot. I don't know why I clicked that. This is Revelation 18. And let me start it. I'm just going to finish with this. This is Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in 1 hour. And this is talking about Babylon the Great. Therefore shall her plagues come in 1 day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. All right. So all these plagues that are going to come to America is going to come in 1 day, man. Really in 1 hour. All right. Which is at the end of the day, just 1 day. All right. And those plagues are talking about those missiles, man. It says she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall we bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Because these other nations, all right, if you know anything about economies, you know that these other nations, they thrive off of America. All right, because America is a majority, is an import majority economy, man. We import a lot of our products, which that's how these other nations, all right, all these other kings of the earth, all right, that's how they live deliciously off of her, with her, because they're making their money off of America. And why are they going to be bewailing and lamenting for her? Because they're not going they know that they're not going to be making that money no more, man. They're not going to be living deliciously no more. All right. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the nuclear missiles, hey, when that nuclear scare happened in North Korea, them people got a warning of 15 minutes, man. All right. That judgment is going to come real quick, man. Okay. Let me go down. Well, I'll close out on this one, verse 21. And a mighty angel, Revelation 18:21, and a mighty angel, and all these chapters that I've been going into, man, are good chapters for brothers to read, especially you brothers that are just coming into this truth. All right, read these chapters, man. Get the understanding of what it's talking about, because it's talking about the destruction of America, man, and what's to come. All right, it says, Revelation 18:21, a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it. And see, for you niggas that say that great millstone isn't in the scriptures, well, here it is, man. A great millstone. All right, it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And what could be more violent than nuclear missiles, man? You could take out millions of people with just one. And there's going to be hundreds of them. Millions of missiles, man. The scriptures talk about that. All right. But with that, hey, Lord willing, you brothers were edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruchak Wadash. Hey, man, the judgment is getting ready to come, man. Hey, we're almost out of here. All right. We're almost out of America. All right. The Lord's getting ready to make his grand return. All right. And this place is going to go out with a bang, literally. All right. With that, Shalom.